The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Our hospitals are overflowing. Children's hospitals being the worst case. I've seen it myself, taking my daughter to an emergency room, waiting with other small kids while there's a shortage. But ironically, we have the doctors. In fact, we bring in thousands of immigrant doctors to this country every single year, but only 41% of them are able to practice in this country. Only 36% of immigrant nurses have the license to practice. The federal government could encourage provinces to speed up recognition of foreign credentials, as we successfully did under the previous government. Mr. Speaker, why has this Prime Minister failed so miserably at doing so?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, when it comes to encouraging the provinces to make improvements in healthcare, we're doing more than just encouraging them. We're saying that we will flow significantly more money to the healthcare systems across the country if they can ensure better results for Canadians, if they can ensure better outcomes, if they can ensure that Health Human Resources take advantage of the thousands of people who come from around the world wanting to work and build a better life in this country, including in our medical system. Mr. Speaker, we are serious about improving results for Canadians from healthcare systems across the country, and that's what we're standing firm on with the provinces.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
He's had 7 years to get results, and he's gotten none. Now, all he can do is brag about how much money he spends without actually achieving real outcomes. Meanwhile, immigrants are forced to work in low-wage jobs, even though they are qualified to serve as doctors and nurses in high-paid positions in desperately needed places within our medical system. Less than half of nurses and doctors from abroad actually get a chance to work. The Prime Minister could make it possible by facilitating future immigrants preparing for credentialing before they even get here, providing small study loans for them to get them, and to get the province to speed up the recognition of credentials. Why won't he?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, when it comes to getting provinces to speed up the recognition of credentials, I will highlight that it is an NDP government in British Columbia that has just taken significant measures to do that. And if the member opposite thinks he can convince his fellow Conservatives who happen to be premiers of provinces to accelerate those processes, it would be a welcome change from the kind of obstructionism and two-tier health care that the Conservatives continue to push. We're going to continue to stand with Canadians to ensure that we're improving and increasing opportunities for Canadians to get good health care and opportunities for new arrivals to work in the industries in which they are trained.
The Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, there are now reports of Beijing-controlled police stations on Canadian soil. This, of course, would be a violation of international law. It is illegal for a foreign government to open a law enforcement office in another country without permission. And the last we checked, there is no permission for that to happen. So the question of the Prime Minister is very simple. How many diplomats from Beijing involved in these police stations has he ordered expelled from Canada? How many?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Foreign actors attempting to monitor, intimidate, or threaten Canadians is completely unacceptable. The allegations detailed are concerning, which is why we will never tolerate threats to Canada's national security or to the safety of our citizens and residents. The RCMP have announced that they are investigating these allegations, and I've asked officials to examine them very, very carefully. We will continue to work closely with our allies around the world to respond to illegal and unacceptable behavior by authoritarian states like China.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
La question était combien?
The question was how many. There are reports of police stations here in Canada working for a foreign state. That's illegal. It's not legal for a foreign government to have police stations here in Canada. The Prime Minister has been aware of this situation for at least a month. At least. Once again, the question, how many diplomats have been expelled from Canada since the Prime Minister learned of the existence of these stations? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the details of these allegations of interference are concerning. We will never tolerate Canada's national security being threatened or the security of our residents and citizens. The RCMP has announced that it will be carrying out an investigation on these allegations. and I am asking those responsible to follow up.
Chinese Canadian community is all too often the victim of foreign interference by China, and we need to emphasize that Chinese Canadians continue to deliver extraordinary benefits to Canadians as proud Canadian citizens, and we will continue to stand with this community that is victims of interference rather than perpetrators as.
The honourable member